Start now.
Rightio.
Thanks, Marama.
So we'll reconvene, and we have Francis Delaney and Zoe Trask from the Motuuru Trust presenting. So you have 10 minutes to share, and that's 7 minutes to share and put your case forward, and then there'll be 3 minutes for questions at the end. You'll hear a bell after about 7 minutes, just to let you know your time's coming up. And then just a reminder that this meeting's being live streamed on the Masterton District Council's YouTube channel. So the floor's all yours. And welcome.
Thank you. It's Frances Durnley.
Beg your pardon.
But it's okay. Right, you want to start? I'll introduce Zoe anyway. I'm chairperson of Motuuru Trust. Zoe works with the youth group, so I thought she'd be a good person to talk because she has that direct contact all the time. So, yeah.
Hi, I'm Zoe.
Hi, Zoe.
I have been running our youth group for a good 3 years now. It started slow, just getting into it and getting the youth from different places. We started going to schools and parents and stuff like that, and it's blossomed so well now. Our youth group is based on the middle ground kids, so not the kids who are doing terribly in school and need help and stuff like that, but it's also not for the really good kids, it's more for the kids who don't have anything. We found there's not a lot in town for kids who simply just need that extra support outside of school and families. And it's done so well, and it's really shown how important it is to provide that extra support. And we try and keep it small because I find when you get bigger groups, they tend to start to form their own little groups, and we didn't want that. We just wanted a really nice knit bonded group, which you'll see in the photos that we've handed around, that they're so cool. And we do all sorts of different things. We've got a radio program that we do with Arrow FM, and we have a community garden that we do, and we play games, we do baking, all sorts, yeah.
So these are kids often who will have some low-level anxiety issues. They don't like the big groups because of their anxiety issues. I heard them talking about that on the radio today.
Yeah.
They don't fit the category for mental health services or anything. However, they do have some more anxiety issues, those types of issues.
A lot of it's social anxiety, which we've noticed, and because our group only consists of about 8 kids, once they come in they realise it's not so frightening and they really open up, which is nice.
Yeah. And Zoe does one-on-one work with them before they feed into the group. You've had some students have moved on because they no longer feel they need it now. They've gained enough confidence that they're able to move on. They're very confident on the radio show.
Yes, our radio show is doing very well lately, which is nice.
Yeah.
We talk about mental health and what the kids think is relevant within their age group at the time.
Yeah. What else? So parents have noticed a lot of changes in their young people. You've had a few comments back, haven't you, from parents who have been
comments, which is nice.
Pleased with how the group's gone for their youth.
Some of the students I've had, one of them I've had for 2 years now, and he's blossomed so much. When he first came into our youth group, he had his hood up and he wouldn't talk to us at all, and now he's so confident. He's basically running the group himself, which is what we wanted. We wanted them to be mentors to each other, and it's so cool to see that development within the 2 years. And I did one-on-one work with him too. I've got 2 social workers behind me who give me advice on how to help the kids more, so if they need extra help, I've got those social workers that I can go to. And I've also done my mental health and addictions 101, so I have some knowledge on stuff like that, because a lot of them come from families who struggle with addictions and mental health and stuff.
Does anyone have any questions?
Yeah.
Gary?
Well, hi, thanks for your presentation. Is this based in Masterton, or
Yes.
is this over the water?
Yeah, we're
It's
based
in
at
Masterton.
the community centre.
Marama?
Thank you for your presentation. What age groups do you?
We do, at the moment, we've got about 12 to 14-year-olds. Yeah, that's kind of the age that there's not much support around for them. Yeah.
And what sort of backgrounds would they be?
All sorts. One kid we have who came for us from his school, and he simply just needed more support around going to classes more. And then another kid we have, her parents were attending a parenting course that we do. Yeah.
How do the children get referred to you, or does that
That's similar to what I just said. We run parenting courses, and a lot of them have come from the parents who attend our parenting courses. And we also get refers from schools. We have an enrolment form that they can fill out, and on that enrolment form has 3 goals that they would like to achieve, and that gets handed in to us.
And I see open homes have referred.
Yeah, we've got refers from Open Homes and Norama Tamariki, which is awesome.
So how many Masterton youths would you say have worked with in the last 12 months?
Overall, in the last 3 years, I'd say we've helped about 16, and that's one-on-one and in the group. Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Some of our kids we haven't left, which is a good sign, I guess. We've got some kids who have been with us for 2 years now, whereas we've had others who have turned up for a month and then said that they got everything they needed, and they're really flourishing now, which is awesome.
Great, thank you.
Are there any more questions? Marama?
Where are you based on?
We're based in the community centre in Perry Street, just over there. Yeah.
Any more questions? Right, thank you, Francis and Zoe. Thanks for your
Yes,
time and for
thanks
your
for having us.
presentation. So we'll be in touch with you in the next couple of weeks just to share the outcome of
Yeah.
your application. Thank you
Awesome,
again.
thank you.
Cheers.
Thank you.
Rightio, so we have Erica Jar and Vern Vassell. Hi Vern, from Sustainable Wairarapa Incorporated. And so the way it works is you have 10 minutes altogether, so 7 minutes to share, and then there'll be 3 minutes for questions at the end. And you'll hear a bell from Harriet's corner over there, we just 7 minutes ago. Okay? So thank you, and the floor is all yours.
Kia ora koutou. Would you like to, you've received our proposal, we've moved on a lot from there, so would you like us to start with an update of where we're at and what we're about? Okay, so
Thank you.
Sustainable Wairarapa has been around for 25 years, but we are proposing and planning a conference and expo around electrification, so creating resilience in rural communities right through to the economics of businesses and community housing and so on going electric. So the conference has moved from the proposed dates of the 8th and 9th of November to the 22nd, 23rd. That's because when the dates were checked to be free at the Copthorne, it turned out that when we went into the Copthorne, they said, no, those dates aren't free. So we've just had to move the dates, but that's a minor detail. We propose that the Friday is a conference, and we now have quite a good draft program underway, and it includes our keynote speakers who are Mike Casey from Rewiring Aotearoa, Dr. Marcus Pelliner from the EECA, he's the CEO of the EECA, and Jeff Simmons, who is the Chief Economist for the Parliamentary Commissioner for the Environment. We
transit buses,
Yep.
electrification programs, so we're getting quite a broad spectrum of speakers, and it's just slotting them into a program that has got something for everyone, but yeah.
Yeah, so Professor Alan Brent will be speaking about farming under solar. We have a small hydro and wind, like, personal turbines in your small property. So he will be speaking about using wind as an alternative to solar. We are looking at the complexities and the ease at which you can pick off the low-hanging fruit in your transition from a fossil fuel environment to a clean energy environment.
The Rewiring Aotearoa, who Mike Casey's the CEO of, spoke in Wairarapa 2 months ago or something. We got about 65 people there, an expression of interest. And the important having them on board is they have a whole lot of research data from government and ICA, and they package it in a way that a general public, you can decide whether you should have a gas cooker, induction, all the way through, and it goes through the economics and the environmental benefits. So it's not that you can do everything at once, but you need to have the information available so that when you're making a decision. And the point of this is a non-political, what's in it for you, to get you started and to show you that in fact it's actually economic to do a lot of these things now. But even some of them which are a bit more expensive, you need to plan to do it in the future. So whether you put solar on your place, whether you have a battery, whether you have get a second-hand electric car, or if you can, what's the economics of the slightly dearer car, what's the payback? So we're trying to relate it to each section of the community, but that includes businesses as well. Like there's dairy farms are quite a low-hanging fruit. They use quite a lot of power, and there's trying to make sure that people understand what's possible now, and so that they can plan for the future. Like if they build a shed or you're building something, make sure you build it so that the roof's in the right angle if you can. So it's a start of an education program. So we have the conference on the Friday, which is paid, which would ensure that the people turn up and the quality of speakers we've got. But on the Saturday we've got a free expo, which is for the whole public, and we're very fortunate that Trust House, we've got sponsorship from them, which is the building plus all the lawn in front. So we've been approaching car companies, electric truck, van, motorbikes, and even farm side by side. So there will be something there for everybody. But what we really need is the seeding funding to make sure that we can do this properly. So when we go to exhibitors and things, well, have you done this before? No, that hasn't been done. But it's important that we get it at a decent scale so that it actually is part of an ongoing program, which district councils and things,
Yeah. On the Saturday, we also we're approaching education providers around electrician apprenticeships and so on, electrical engineering at Vic Uni and so on. So Max from Makota College, he's a student that's on the radio at the moment, talking about the fact that he's off to Victoria University to become an electrical engineer. And it's he's the kind of person that we'd like to have there to say, hey, it's a really cool thing to do. We also have Matthew he's the CEO of Rangatane Tumaira Solar. He's coming down to talk about the Papakainga model and community housing and so on. So we are making a conference that is for everyone and not a specific group particularly, but we just, that whole transition. The Saturday is the thing that we want it to be really successful. So to get as many exhibitors as possible, we've made the exhibition costs really low for the exhibitors. and you know, that means that we need that seed funding to make sure that the exhibition prices can stay low, so that we can actually have a really successful thing for the public.
So we're hoping to have the electric hand tools and all that. It's been very interesting going around canvassing for this, that everyone's actually been quite interested. They haven't always had something to sell, but they actually are thinking about it. And we've included banks who have low interest funding and things like that. So do you have questions? Is that the...
Yep.
Bex?
Hi, thank you. Just a question you talked about a minute ago about keeping the registration low. What sort of
Well,
costs are you thinking?
okay, so to be a delegate, we're looking at $50, and that's including GST and the ticketing, you know, the electronic ticketing costs. So it's $50 to the delegate, which is, you know, I'm doing a conference the week before and it's $400 a delegate. So it's a super low price, and, you know, to park your 2 electric vehicles on the front lawn, it's $250. So it's super low cost compared to other expos that might be going on. And that's, again, simply just to make sure that when we start advertising it, and we aim to start advertising mid to late September, we have a significant number of exhibitors to make it worth people going and finding out more.
But the Saturday is free. So that's the idea when, and hopefully people, you know, young kids or family, there will be career options and things like that. So it depends on how much funding we get as to how we can promote it. But we're confident that the concept has got lots of merit. It's just,
Making sure that it has legs in the future.
Yeah, we can't run at a loss.
Yeah, thanks.
Any more questions, Marama?
You've got the 8th and 9th of November on.
Yes.
Is that the correct date?
No, we had to change it to the 22nd and 23rd.
Yeah.
That's okay. I mean, we went through our application this morning and went, okay, so we made this pretty much on the same day as we got the venue sorted. So, you know, things have just had to evolve as they do when you're planning these things. Our budget's also evolved a little bit.
There is a follow-on event at South Wairarapa on our farm highlighting the dairying side of it. So the idea is that we would carry, if we can get enough funding, to carry on more targeted events around during the year. So this is to really start the subject off with a conference and an expo, and then more targeted events depending on how much money we got to do it with.
We should talk to Business Wairarapa,
Yeah, we
We've
have.
talked to a lot of people.
because that could be a marketing opportunity.
Yeah, so we've talked to Business Wairarapa, we've talked to the Federated Farmers, rural professionals. Fern had a conversation with their group.
Yep.
Where we go, where we can, we're getting in to see people. Yeah.
Thank you. Are there any more questions? No, thank you both for your time. Thank you for coming to present. Thank you for your application. So we'll be in touch for the next 2 weeks, just with the outcome.
Okay, that'd be great.
Thank you both.
Thank you, everyone. Happy Thursday.
Now, we'll welcome back Frances Durnley, no run this time, and Eva Bannister for Come Sew With Me.
Hello,
Hi again.
and thank you so much for giving me this opportunity, to come and present our amazing thing.
I'll just share how it works, just because you were here.
Yes,
So it's 7
absolutely.
minutes to share, and then it'll be 3 minutes for questions at the end.
Absolutely.
And it's
Yes.
being live streamed as well.
Cool. Okay, yeah. Now, we've been going for almost 7 years now. In 2017, we were approached and asked if we would like to do a 2-month pop-up thing, so that I could show off my sewing machine collection, which I was very excited about at the time, and you know, the idea of sharing it with people was really exciting. And that 2 months has turned into 7 years, and it's become so much more than just a collection to show or to look at. At the very beginning, I wanted to be able to share them, to have them of use, and everyone has always been welcome to come in and use the machines. The community it's just the best place to be, to see the kindness and the generosity of the community around. Not a day goes by that somebody doesn't come in and bring maybe just a little card of lace, maybe just a packet of pins, maybe a big box of fabric, and occasionally Grandma's sewing machine, and along with a thank you so much for taking this. We really didn't want to take it to the tip. You know, Grandma has used it, Mum used it, and I used it. My children don't want it. It's so sad, but we can't keep it. And we're able to get that thing going and keep it going and have it. And it means so much to the family. And I've collected and bought and cajoled and, you know, quite a few, but it's not just the collection of the machines, but the collection of the people who have been a part of this. We tend to, well, everybody's welcome, and we've had people as young as 2 and as old as 92. The 2-year-old was sitting on a mama's knee, so that's okay. Health and safety, just calm down. And so it's and men, women, children often come in end of the day during the holidays. On the first Saturday of each month, we're open between 1 and 4. Otherwise, every working weekday. And anybody can come in and use the machines. If they've never sewn before, that's fine. I'll help them, and if they need help with cutting out or whatever. Just last week I was in the supermarket and a lovely woman approached me, and she came in with her daughters a year or so ago, and they had never sewn before and she hadn't, and they just made a thing, and then they wanted to make another thing, and then we saw quite a lot of them, and then we haven't seen so much of them since. But she said, do you know, my daughter she's sewing all the time, and she's taking she's doing a special course in the school, and she wants to be a fashion designer, and she's designed a thing for the wearable arts, the Wellington competition. So that's just really exciting to hear those stories back. We also seem to attract the lost and the lonely, and a lot of people who don't really fit in other places, and often people will come in and they'll say, oh, we just want to come in and be with you for a little bit, because we heard that it's really nice here. I don't want to sew because I can't sew, because somebody told me, a teacher or a mother or a grandma or a spiteful sister, I can't do stuff, I can't sew, I'll just hurt myself. You know, I'll just make a mess. It won't be good enough. And they'll say, that's okay, we'll give them a cup of tea and we'll laugh like we do, and we'll have a lovely time. Before they go home, they've made a thing. A pincushion, a bag, something. They've made a thing, and they've never made a thing. And they've made a thing, and they walk out, and their shoulders are back, and their heads are held high. And, you know, they don't take quite so much crap as they did before they walked in, because they're worth a bit more. And we hear from the families, and, you know, afterwards will say, the way my sister, my friend, my whatever has become, it's a miracle. Because, you know, she felt so bad about herself, and now she's got something to, you know, look forward to. And some of the women who come in, we have our regulars, and we have our semi-regulars and our not-so-regulars, but a lot of them, they've come in and it's like, I open the door at 10 o'clock in the morning and they fall in because they've just been waiting there and they're there right until the end. I had to kick them out early today so that I could come here. But there was one lady, she said, "Can I come? Can we all come?" Tell them we would have liked to have come. So that's from them. But I also want to thank the council for the opportunity, way back when, that when we became a charity, rent was put down so that we could, make a go of the place, and we've had that for 6.5 years, and we've really appreciated it. It's up again, and we're struggling, but somehow we'll make it. And thank you so much. Just I was just speaking about it to a pair of young men who have just started coming, and one young man, he's just released beginning to release his first single, and he's put his song on YouTube, and it's really exciting for him, and he wanted to make some merch, some hats to sell, but he can't afford to sort of have them done, so he's started to do that. And his friend who's staying at the youth, there's a special place in Masterton where the homeless youth are staying, and he's from there, and he came in with his friend and made his first thing, a special bag to put his patu in so that he can go to the hakas, kapa haka with it, and then he's wanted to make another thing and another thing. And so, there's so much I could tell you apart from the history of the wonderful machines that we have. They just, every little thing, everyone has a history, where it came from, how many generations it's been, and the stories. It's a really good way to share the history. But come and see us one day.
We'll ask you some questions now.
Yeah.
Does anyone have any questions? Yep, Craig.
Hey, how many people would come through your door on a daily basis?
On a daily basis, regular. Now Fridays are quiet. I make it like that so that I have a day that I can do things, but people are still welcome to come through. Otherwise, 15 to 25. Half a dozen of those will stay all day. We feed people. There's soup in the winter, and there's always, scones and tea and happening, because, when people are still there at lunchtime, you feed them. But yeah, about 15 to 25 through on a regular day, and yeah, sometimes more and sometimes less.
So you
generally,
would say that some of these people see it as a safe place?
It is a safe place. It's a haven. I've been told, it's a slice of heaven on earth. It's where they can feel accepted and safe. Yeah, they're going to be treated with respect and kindness, and they can air a little, and we'll be there for them. Yep. Hi.
Whereabouts are you based?
We're in Queen Elizabeth's Park, in the Rose Cottage, just across from, our back, going out the back door. We were just across from the back of the police station, and then the front, across from Challenge Motors, just behind the gates. Yes, it's been a lovely place. We've really appreciated. We kind of need to look for a bigger space at some stage, but because we're bursting at the seams, because the community is so kind.
And do you sing to them?
Well, we never have the radio on, but there was quite often a bit of spontaneous singing. You just can't help it, really. It's like a Disney movie.
I thought you might take your banjo.
Oh, not yet, not yet.
Hello, Heather. Mine is more of a comment. So
Yes.
during the last briefings for council, I came and visited your
Oh, lovely, yes.
show with me. And at the time, there was a young woman and she had 3 kiddies. It was during school holidays.
Yes.
Teenagers. One was a baby. And then, of course, you had your regulars. that were
Yes.
there, they were coming and going.
It was yep.
I remember it really clearly, and exactly the way that Heather has described how the place is run is exactly how it's run. It's open to the public.
Thanks,
So
Jo.
thank you.
Gary?
Oh, thank you.
Heather, just one thing I'm disappointed
Yes,
you
Gary.
didn't mention were your scones.
Hey, what?
Your scones, you haven't mentioned your
I
scones.
did, I did.
Oh, okay.
Gary's quite fond of
Probably
mine.
dreaming of them while you were talking.
I was going to bring, I could have brought the leftovers for the day, but, you know, it might look a bit sus, Gary. They might look like, you know, getting you on side.
One of the lovely stories, I have to just say, you mentioned, Heather, was when a new immigrant family came to Masterton and Heather was able to supply them with a machine that they recognised how to use.
Yeah, quite often,
Old machine.
yes, when the refugees have come in, apparently there are machines for them, electric machines, so that they can sew and make their own clothes as they used to, but a lot of them come from spaces there where they don't have the electricity or it's not, you know, reliable, so they have the hand cranks or the treadles, and so they've come to me and I've gifted them with a treadle or a hand crank or whatever, because I like to infect others with my passion or help others out. I'd hate to be in the spot where I'd end up in a different space and without a machine. It would scare the crap out of me. So I like to be able to help others. And then if there are ones that don't have, if they have children or they're busy and they can't come in, well, it's quite all right if they just come and have a rummage and take fabric home and carry on at home. It's a thing. It's a thing. People are kind to us, and so we like to pass it on. Comes around.
Thank you both for your presentation and your passion and the project and the work you do. So we'll be in touch in the next couple of weeks just to let you know about the outcome of the application.
Thank you, Tim. And thank you.
Thanks, Heather.
And I'll go now.
Right, so now we have Abby Hollingsworth from the Roof Project Wairarapa Charitable Trust. So welcome, Abby.
Hi.
Abby, you have 10 minutes, so 7 minutes to share, and then you'll hear a bell from the just over there in the corner, and that will be time for questions after that. So and just a reminder, this is being live streamed on the District Council YouTube channel. So the floor's all yours.
Tēnā koutou katoa, ko Māori Pākehā au, ko Ngāti Kahungunu o te Wairoa, me nai tūhoi, me Ngāti Rua Pānei oku iwi. I am the director and founder of the Roof Project Wairarapa. I founded the Roof Project along with 2 others 4 years ago in October 2019. And it was birthed out of my own experience from having children. So our kaupapa at the Roof Project is to support our mums and dads who are facing perinatal mental distress, and we fit specifically in between the professional appointments. The reason that was the focal point is because that was my experience. My husband and I have 3 babies and 2 spiritual babies, and if I'm honest, having children was a very dark time for me. I will get emotional because it's very always close to my heart, the experience, and we didn't get health care assistance until I was suicidal and my husband had a breakdown. But timing is always good sometimes, and the next day after my husband had a breakdown, we had a psychiatrist appointment, and the words she used was that, Abby, you are in catastrophic depression and you're in crisis point as a family. That's not anything any parent wants to hear, when you have 3 beautiful children who are all 18 months apart, because we thought that was a great idea. And so that was a really difficult time. And then 3 months later, I had no psychiatrist, I had no psychologist, I didn't hear from the mental health nurse again, and I'm assuming I was discharged from adult mental health, but I haven't had any confirmation to know. So it's been 10 years now, and I would assume I'm off their books. So you get to a point in your healing journey where you can either complain about gaps in community, or services didn't do this, or vent, or you can think, what can I do to make a difference? How can I help the community that I'm a part of so that other parents don't have to feel the way we felt? And that's the road I took, because I didn't want my experience and my pain to be wasted. I want it to be used for others. So we named the Ruth Project after the biblical story of Ruth and Naomi. I don't know if you know the story, but there was 3 women, all their husbands died, and they were left together in joint grief. Naomi, the mother, the matriarch, said, you girls go back to your people, go get remarried and have a good life, and I'll go back to Israel and hope that someone has mercy on me as a poor widow. But Ruth's attitude was, no, I'm not going, your people will be my people, your land will be my land. And she made a choice to walk with her mother-in-law in shared grief to an unknown outcome. And that's the essence of the Ruth Project. We walk with our parents to an unknown outcome, but we share in the same grief. We're not a health professional service, we're not a counselling service, we are a peer support to work alongside the health professionals. We already have great relationship with Plunkett and Hawkeye Tahi and maternity and midwives so that they know where they can refer their mums to. The idea is that we can have the social group or the social organisation to take the pressure off our healthcare and our professional groups so they can focus on their moderate to severe families, and we can support the mild to moderate. Our biggest heart is being a village. We are a village for our parents, and we're creating their village. For me, I feel honoured that I can speak with you today. Regardless of the outcome, the fact that I can sit here to counsel and say, we're the Ruth Project, we're in the community, we're helping your people who are also my people, and having our name on your radar, that's a huge win for me. So our main service is in-home support. The biggest factors were taking pressure off the parents. We do the pursuing, we do the calling, we go to their safe space, we keeping it free. There is no cost to our parents for the Ruth Project. My husband and I, we aren't wealthy enough to go private, but we also weren't low income enough to get funding. So we didn't get any professional health care because we had to buy formula and nappies. So it's free for anybody and everyone who struggled with perinatal mental distress. Our volunteers, so we're heavily dependent on volunteers, have actually turned out to be our retired community, which was a pleasant surprise because they are giving back to their community rather than sitting at home feeling wasted or lonely or depressed. So we have 12 volunteers who go into the homes of our parents around the Wairarapa, and that looks like whatever that family needs. We base our care off Te Whare Tapawha, so we get to know the family, what is it that they're missing, and how can we help them fill those gaps in. It could be a simple kapa and listen. It could be holding baby so mum can go and have a shower. A lot of our mums are too scared to have a shower because they're convinced something's going to happen to baby. It could be holding baby so mum can have a sleep for half an hour because of the same fear factor. We have one male volunteer working with 2 dads, which is a big win for us. So they are their own clients and they're not attached to their mums. And Brian has taught them how to garden, how to cook to contribute to the family. He's helped them with their budgeting, he's helped them with their studies, and he's empowered the dads to take back leadership in their homes just by being beside them. So it gives Brian a sense of purpose and it empowers our dads to feel like they're contributing to their home again. So in-home's our main
thing that we focus on. We have a regular weekly coffee morning. The idea is we're working with parents who won't get out of the house. They will stay at home and they'll be isolated, and they can go a whole 2 weeks without seeing another adult outside of their family. So our goal is get them out of the home, into our coffee morning, which St. James Church has kindly opened their doors to us so that we can host it there every week. It's the same time, the same place, set up the same way. We make them a coffee, we'll hold baby, and it's a place for parents to just breathe. It's not a play group, it's not a play centre, it's their space. Thank you. So that, and then a few other social factors. We deliver food parcels every Thursday from Y Waste. And I'll do anything I can, really. I'm a big dreamer, so I've got big dreams of moving into South Wairarapa, into our rural communities, so that's the next on my agenda. But I will let you ask questions now.
Does anyone have any questions?
Well done, Amy.
Thank you very much.
Because you've explained it so well.
Oh, good.
Thank you for sharing. And so we'll be back in touch with you in the next 2 weeks, just
Awesome.
to the outcome of the application.
Great, thank you very much.
Cheers.
Well done. Ryan's not coming.
So Veronia, we'll put you in a little bit earlier.
Sure.
So, from the Ngāti Kahungunu Ki Wairarapa Charitable Trust. So you have 10 minutes, and pardon? Oh, sorry. Oh, what was that? Sorry, here.
Enough not to pay. Finish your time?
4:30.
Yeah, because there's someone who will come, she'll be running a little bit later. So if you've got your 10 minutes, and that's 7 minutes to share, and then 3 minutes for questions after that. Okay? And welcome as well.
Tēnā koutou. Ki te kōtahi te kākaho, ka whati. Ki te kāpuia e kore e whati. Te hei mauri ora. Kei aku nui, kei aku rahi. Tēnā koutou, tēnā koutou. I shared a proverb from Kingi Tāwhio, and it talks about the reed that stands alone, it breaks, but the reed that is combined with other reeds stands strong. And part of that is about acknowledging the passing of our Kingi Tu Heitia, but it's also about well-being. Well-being requires many hands to come together. Ko wai tēnei, who is this? He moko puna tēnei o te Wairarapa, born and raised here in Wairarapa, and I work at Ngāti Kahungunu Ki Wairarapa. Tararua ngā pai maunga, rua mahanga te awa, kahununu te iwi, taki timu te waka, ko kahununu te tangata. We are a not-for-profit charitable organisation, and I'm the practice leader for social services, and we work in intensive intervention, and we also work in the whānau care space. Intensive intervention, we are attempting to keep our whānau out of oranga tamariki, police probation. Whānau care space is, we are working with parents and children who are in oranga tamariki. And many of the same themes become prevalent, the stories that our whānau tell us. And one of those stories is about poverty. One of those stories is about not having access to food. And we believe that this kaupapa, oranga whānau, kai security, kai sovereignty, the approach has multiple facets to it. It's about a rejuvenation of our cultural systems in regards to food. It's about connecting some people back to their culture, but it's also about providing some real practical skills so that whānau are able to actually become educated, educate how to do things such as a budget when you have a family and you've got one income. It's about being able to grow rongoa at your home so that you can look after your own body. And rongoa is a Māori rākau, trees, plants that are used for healing. And it's also about rejuvenating some of the traditional practices used around preserving food. And we believe that this Kai sovereignty, Kai security is going to lessen the number of whānau that we have coming into our services that are requiring Kai. We strongly believe that there's a whakatauki in Te Ao Māori about the bird that eats the berry. His realm is the forest, but the bird that eats knowledge, his world is the world is his oyster. So we believe that education must play a key role in empowering whānau in regards to Kai, and empowering whānau with some tools so that they are not dependent on any service. They are able to assert their own mana motuhake, their own independence, their own sovereignty. We will be working with one of the local peka branches of Māori Women's Welfare League and Oranga Tamariki and Kahununu Ki Wairarapa staff to actually run this. And because Kai and whānau not having access to Kai is such a prevalent thing, it has also been woven into our strategic plan going forward. So when I saw the funding for this, the Wellbeing Oranga funding, I believe that that this is an opportunity for us to utilise the many hands that we work with, but to be able to address a real issue that we are seeing, and that's just our services, the services and the whānau that we work with. When I think of ora and oranga, we have a model called Te Whare Tapawha, and you would probably know about this. And for me, when I thought about what are the benefits that this actually can provide, not only to a person but to a family, because when we're thinking of the people we work for, it's never an individual. It's always we work with an individual that is part of a whānau, that is part of a hapu. And but the benefits, obviously there's a physical benefit because whānau won't be hungry. So taha tinana, but that taha tinana has these effects in terms of it affects taha wairua. And I could say that taha wairua is about identity. So in this, what we're wanting to run is also, there's a kaupapa Māori lens to this. So whānau are learning about Kai, the names of Kai, different rākau, the names of different, those rākau, the healing properties in them. These are all traditional practices. So in that point, sometimes it's about a reconnection with our whānau, reconnecting to their culture, and that's oranga, that is well-being, their tuakiri, their identity. And that's taha wairua. Taha whānau, as I said before, when we work with an individual, we don't look at it as a single, it's not a single person. We're thinking of a person that is part of a whānau. And an emphasis is that the knowledge that is shared, the skills that are shared, must be shared in the home. Must be something that is easily transferable into the home to the children to be able to learn, so that the whānau learn together and grow together. So ko wai I huanga ai, who is this specifically for, or who are we specifically targeting? We work with a number of men's groups already, and we also work with single parents, many rangatahi. So those are the people who are already using our services, and those are the people that, or those are the whānau that we will actually be focusing on or bringing into this program. So, atu I tērā, tēnā koutou, tēnā koutou, tēnā koutou.
So does anyone have any questions? Thanks, thank you.
So, thank you very much for that. So this will be a new program.
Yes.
And do you have the plan for it?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you've already got kind of know what you want to do and how you want to do it?
Yeah. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
And are you, and sorry, the next question was, and are you applying for funding from other community partners as well to help you with this?
No, but we are providing our staff to help run it. We'll also have a whare, which is a home on Reynolds Street that Oranga Tamariki, it's part of our partnership that we have, so they are actually providing that venue for free. So there is I suppose if I put a cost on that, that would actually amount to maybe $3,000 alone.
And when would you be hoping to launch this?
Yeah, so as soon as we, after Te Māhuru Māori, which is this month, we're wanting to run this program in October. We have so we already have it's like a small curriculum. Who will be facilitating it, what days, what week, what will be taught, and we've tried to ensure that it is a kind of like I'm trying to think of the appropriate word, but it's like a canvassing. So we have some foundation things here, and then we build upon it and build upon it and build upon it. And so I have a background in adult education and have worked in tertiary for many years, and so I've tried to draw on that experience about how adults and youth learn best, so to make it very interactive, to have multiple mediums of ways of learning and exchanging knowledge.
And just one more question.
Yep.
And how many people do you think you'll be able to accommodate?
So at the whare we can accommodate 20 people, and so what we're wanting to do is to run a 12-week program, and so each week we will have that 20 people come into the whare on Reynolds Street, and we will take them through step by step a range of I suppose you could say little assessments, and also, but teaching them about budgeting, teaching them about kai, teaching.
And then when your 12 weeks finishes, you'll start with another group, is that the plan?
Yep, so we are actually looking at a long term for this. So this was just an opportunity for us to begin it. Kia ora.
Right, thank you, Sophronia. Thank you for coming and thank you for presenting. So we'll be in touch with you in the next 2 weeks just about the outcome of the application.
Tēnā koe.
Cheers.
Thank you. Right, so welcome Jen.
Hello.
Presenting for the Masterton Young Citizens Club.
Oh, I don't know
And
if
sorry,
I need
running
a
a little bit late.
Pretty loud.
We're late but early at the same time. So, Jen, you have 10 minutes to share, so 7 minutes to present and then 3 minutes for questions at the end.
Awesome. So, kia ora. Thank you so much for your grants in the past. And every year I come here and I tell you about the amazing things that we do at the Young Citizens Club and how many of our youth we get to touch in their lives and be involved with in our club. you've got our proposal in front of you. I'm not going to regurgitate that. And I thought I would swallow my own medicine in my day job. I'm a governance specialist, and what I've been advising my boards is that they need to be looking in the future. We need to, do a little bit, 1/3 about what's happened in the past and 2/3 about what's happened in the future. So I want to spend most of the time thinking about how we look to the future of Masterton Young Citizens Club. We've got over 70 years of history at the club and many changes and iterations. And as you know, the face of volunteering, the face of our community has changed so significantly over those 70 years. What we used to have was a lot of people who were time rich and money poor. And they would come and they would do working bees and they would volunteer in exchange for their part that they played. And many of us sitting in this room, I see you're around the same age as I am. We remember that quite fondly, our parents heavily involved in the community and giving their time. Now we've moved into a different part of our community where people are really time poor. And even now, they're not time poor and money rich. They're time poor and money poor as well. So now more than ever do we need to come back to supporting our community in what we do and giving people a sense of achievement and being able to be successful, coming together, supporting each other, being positive and lifting each other up. And that's what we're all about at our club. And we've spoken about the future of our club quite a lot. So not only are we asking for a grant that will barely get us by, we do a lot of our own fundraising, we're really proactive, our kids get up, we try all sorts of different cool stuff with our community to raise money. But we're also going to be asking you for some governance help. We'd really love to expand our board. We'd love to have some more governance professionals. We'd love to have some advice on where to go and how to get things. We'd love to tap into lotteries, grants, and be able to really get some huge amount of money, and we're talking maybe $100,000 to expand our club into a hub. We've got one of the biggest premises for a gym that is in the Wairarapa that is owned by us. The Lands Trust own the land and we own the building. We are going through a huge change. We've just renovated the 2 front changing rooms and bathrooms, and we did that strategically. We did that so that we can invite people that are outside of our usual realm into our community hub. So we recognised that we have an asset sitting there that's not used a lot during the day. So how do we get that use happening in our community? Well, mums and bubs, Pilates, and other members of our community that could use the space wouldn't use the space if we have non-working bathrooms and toilets and showers that were lined with corrugated iron come rugby club days kind of style. So we completely revamped and renovated that thanks to Trust House grant. They gave us $20,000 and we fundraised $14,000 ourselves, which is pretty awesome in our community for where we're at. And they look absolutely stunning. But what we want now is we want to be able to bring those groups in. Now our kaupapa is that we give that the adults will pay a little bit more so that the kids can train for free, or very, very little. At the moment, we charge $1.50 a session for an hour and a half. I don't even know a babysitter, let alone professional instruction. We do Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu and boxing, and the boxing club's been incredibly successful. We have an Australian Golden Gloves winner in our midst. We have several national champions, several Golden Gloves winners, Oceanic champions, bronze medal Commonwealth Games winners in our club. Like, there is no shortage of talent whatsoever, and there is no shortage of aroha to provide that training for free. Our trainers don't get paid. And everything that we make at the moment is going into maintaining our building and drawing people into our club. So what we're asking for is for you guys to continue to support us. As you can see, the cost that we're putting forward are literally what we need to run the club. We're not asking for fancy uniforms, we're not asking for anything other than the bare minimum. We'll go out and we will find, and we will make, and we will earn the money that we need to do over and above to give our kids and our adults that come to our club more. We'll do that. But what we need from you is to be able to keep running so that we can do it. The future of our club looks amazing. 5 years' time, we want to have a full-time administration person who manages the schedule of the people coming in and out of our space. We want people to be able to drop in. We see physiotherapists and other chiropractors having day clubs in our space because we have those rooms specifically set aside. So, and for koha, because that's our kaupapa. Our kaupapa is reaching our communities that struggle, bringing them into our whānau, telling them that they have an extended whānau and that they don't have to ask, we give, because asking is too hard. Asking has a stigma attached to it that a lot of our communities, specifically our Pacific Island community, just won't do that. So we have to come to them. And we have to come to them in total love and saying, this is for you. This is what we do for you. And then it just comes back in a big circle. When they can help, they come back as well. So we're going to have a schedule of people coming in and out of our club. Our club is going to be open right up until 10 o'clock at night with people and different community groups using that space and coming together in that space.
Thanks, Jen. All right. Does anyone have any questions? Anima?
Kia ora, Jen. Thank you for your presentation. About how many members or people do you have in your organisation?
So this is a really kind of crazy question, to be honest, because members around 200, active members probably around 60 at a time, people who feel a connection to us, thousands in this community. There wouldn't be, Gary, you've well known the club, Vex, you well know the club. There wouldn't be a group of people that you could go here that you say, oh, have you heard of Young Citizens? Oh, yeah, my son, my uncle, my cousin, my nephew, my niece did boxing there. Oh, and Andrew Kroski, we had the Great Untrust Lands Trust AGM that I'm the board secretary of, and Andrew Kroski said, oh, I learned to wrestle at the Masterton Young Citizens Club. So many of our community have had the advantage of, it's like a whakapapa here. People know, love and appreciate the discipline, the love, the boundaries, the support. So, teenagers these days are hard. Not that they've ever been easy, but getting them out of bed, getting them active, going, taking them running, getting them somewhat off their screens, and we hear it all the time. And what we know to be fact is when they come see us, their mental health improves because they're exercising. They are finding community with people, other people that exercise, with other people that prioritise their mental health. Having those kōreros just casually, and particularly our young tama, our boys, and the men in our club, having those conversations as if it's normal. And I'm really proud of that because our men don't have those conversations usually, but our boys, they talk about it like it's a normal conversation. And that's awesome.
Right, any more questions?
Jen, I'm correct in saying, aren't I, that just about everything's voluntary in your club?
No, everything. Not just about, absolutely everything. There is not a single person who gets paid. They use their own petrol, they donate their own time. Daniel Miller, who's our trainer, he volunteers at least 20 hours a week for these kids and for the adults. And, you know, eventually in 5 years' time, our club will be self-sustaining. It will be when we get these other clubs coming in and using us during the day, and we have this schedule, and the maintenance is kept up to date on the building. All of the additional money that we get from the adults and from the groups renting can actually go to bringing in guest speakers, to having competitions and bringing people outside of their region to the Wairarapa, because we will be able to self-fund that, and we will be able to pay Daniel for his time, although he probably won't accept it. So, you know, yeah, it is absolutely voluntary.
Thank you.
Right, well, thank you very much, Jen. Thanks for the work you do, and thanks for your presentation. So we'll be in touch in the next couple of weeks, just at the outcome of your application. So
Thank you ever so much, and we appreciate you all.
Well done.
Yeah.
Right, guessing this is Lisa Burrell. So Lisa? So Lisa from Divine River New Zealand Trust. So welcome. And Lisa, you have 10 minutes for your presentation, so 7 minutes to share and then 3 minutes for questions. You'll hear a bell after 7 minutes. And the presentation is also being live streamed on the Masterton District Council YouTube channel as well. So when you're ready, the floor's all yours, Lisa. Thank you.
Kia ora koutou, ko Lisa Burrell tōku ingoa. Thank you for your time and hearing our presentation to support our application to the grant this year. Divine River is a charity that started here in the Wairarapa. We're based out of Masterton. Our kaupapa is to nurture sustainable personal care choices, and we do this through delivering workshops across the district, and we started in schools in Kuranui College about 5 years ago, and we've developed that to delivering a lot of community workshops. Here in Masterton over the last year, we've delivered about 90 workshops and had about 850 participants, and they've all made personal care items that, you know, and they make those with natural ingredients, and that can replace the more synthetic store-bought ingredients that a lot of people would choose based on just financial reasons. We've delivered those workshops mostly in community hubs of Shady Mallow and the Masterton District Library, so it's been good to build those partnerships with those community hubs, and that helps obviously build those relationships with those organisations, but also with their communities, and to develop our relationships here in Masterton. And now we've been delivering here for some time. We've been approached by a number of other local organisations, IDEA Services, Wairarapa Women's Centre, Pepe Ora and the YMCA, to deliver our workshops to their communities as well. And so I suppose one of the things I would like to talk about is what we do. I suppose I'll give you a bit more detail on that. And our workshops are inclusive, and they're bringing together a diverse range of community members offered for free. And these workshops are accessible to all, ensuring that everyone in the community can participate. It's not, they don't have to, you know, they don't pay for any of the workshops, and we don't ask for a koha. Our goal is to empower individuals and create a sense of belonging by teaching practical skills and knowledge of sustainable personal care choices. These sessions build confidence, resilience and a sense of community, helping participants feel connected and supporting their well-being. By creating eco-friendly products, we address immediate needs, we hope to reduce financial burdens and promote environmental sustainability, ultimately improving, hopefully, the quality of life and potential for everyone in our communities, because they learn how to do these things and they can take them home, those skills they learn, and share them with their whānau and the wider community. Our workshops also foster sort of critical thinking and creativity and problem skills, particularly among the children and the youth that we work with, and they're some things we're hoping to develop as our kaupapa grows. As participants become regulars, the connection and sense of belonging they experience in our workshops help build confidence, capacity, and continue that curiosity, about what else could I make, what other things could I do, because the principles are embedded through those, particularly we're finding here in Masterton now, we've been here so long, lots of participants come back, like Pathways bring a number of their groups each week to the various workshops that we operate. And the positive solutions and choices we demonstrate shifts participants' mindsets, we think, from viewing eco-friendly options as challenging to actually seeing them as opportunities for themselves to make something for themselves and increase self-reliance, but also potentially to go down an enterprise route with some of these things, which can benefit them financially, but also it brings about environmental benefits as well. And why we do it. So we hope our workshops grow resilience and restore hope, because I think it's quite hard. There's these big sort of macro issues, and as a person here in the Wairarapa, it can feel a little daunting as to how we can create impact around those bigger issues, especially for youth. And I think giving them something tangible, something hands-on to be able to do really does help that issue that I think society is currently facing. And we've found that collaborating with community hubs has been key to expanding our reach and connection with the community here in Masterton, but across the Wairarapa, because it helps initiate that trust at a much earlier stage than if we were doing this on our own. So we've found that be really helpful in the last sort of 18 months, 2 years. So yeah, that's and on the back page of our is just a link to or an outline of who's on our board and who's in our team, because without it, none of us could do what we do.
Thank you, Lisa. That's fantastic. Now, does anyone have any questions? Marama, thank you, Marama.
Perhaps you could give us hi Lisa.
Kia ora.
Thank you for your presentation. I just wondered, could you give us a generalised rundown of what one of your workshops do?
So, for example, say a lip balm workshop. I've personally run that a number of times in the last year, and you'd gather together. We normally like to work with, saying, making a lip balm. You'd have 10 to 15 participants, be those adults or tamariki or rangatahi, and you'd draw them together. You would talk about the philosophy behind what we're trying to unpack for them during the workshop. So we talk about our sustainability goals and about how we can use natural versus synthetic chemicals, and that's what we'll be looking at today. And they get to see each of the individual ingredients before they actually start to even work with the product. And then we would give them, we use cardboard tubes, and we'd get them to decorate them. So there's that element of hands-on and creativity as well. So that gives them a freedom and sense of self in that context, but they're doing that with a group, but it's not, there's no right or wrong thing to do in that sense, because creativity is down to the individual. And then they would actually touch the individual products. So I think there's like 6 ingredients that goes into a lip balm that we make, and they would see it, and we talk about the science of how it changes state and how we put them all together. We heat them up and they change from a solid to a liquid, and then they change back to a solid again. And then we also show them and they get to use their senses in exploring these. We show them the essential oils that they'll put in that product, and they can choose because, different essential oils make us feel different, and we talk about, those kind of things, and then we put it all together, and then they mix it, and then they put that in the lip balm, and then they wait for it to go back to a solid, and then they take it home.
Stella?
Yeah, thank you. Some great stuff. My daughter attended one of the workshops at the library.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it was great. When you first started out, you were focused quite heavily around that period poverty. Have you sort of put that?
No, we still do that, and on Saturdays, mostly in the South Wairarapa at the moment, but I have been talking to Janine Ogg about doing that up in Masterton as well. Every fortnight I run a session where volunteers come along and we make eco period pads still, and we donated or handed out quite a lot around the South Wairarapa and also to a couple of schools up here in Masterton last year, to Douglas Park and to Hadlow, who had taken part in our making workshops in 2022 and early 23. So we still do that. And and I've been talking to Age Concern as well, because we might run it here on a Saturday. I think they're going to get a new venue if that hasn't already happened. So we might be able to run our workshops here on a Saturday. We had tried to do it with Shady Mellow, but Saturdays were really busy for them, and that's the only day I work in a school. So
with the products you make around that period poverty, are you then distributing them locally as well?
Yeah, so that's what I'm saying. So we make single wet bags. I haven't got one with me. Yeah. So we basically make the pad, we fold it up, and it goes in like a wet bag that's made of cloth and recycled plastic. And they look very like the single packs you get out of the plastic in the supermarket, but students or tamariki can take those to school with them, and then they can put the dirty one in and take the clean one out, and it's very discreet. And just looks like a little purse, and that's what we donated to schools in the South Wairarapa and up here in Masterton last year.
Cool. Okay, thank you.
Right. Thank you, Lisa. Thank you for coming to present. So we'll be in touch with you in the next 2 weeks just to let you know the outcome of the application.
Wonderful. Thank you for your time, and have a good evening.
Thank you for your time too.
Yeah. That's pretty cool. My daughter was pretty buzzing when she came back with her.
I'll have it with
outside.
That was high as you need to as well.
A bit like us.
So we've got another period, is that right? Just to let everybody 100% or
Can we get it?
So, the process is you have 10 minutes, so 7 minutes to share, and then there'll be 3 minutes for questions. And you'll hear the bell going after about 7 minutes, so that will be a time for questions as well, okay? So the floor, and just a reminder that the presentation is being live streamed on the Masterton District Council YouTube channel.
Thank you.
So the floor is all yours. Thank you.
Okay, fantastic. Okay, all right. Well, good afternoon. Thank you for having us this afternoon. So I'm Geraldine and this is Christy, and we're here to talk about the Wairarapa Women's Centre. Now, I've got a little question for you. Do you know when the Wairarapa Women's Centre started?
When it started?
Yes.
Oh, no, I don't know. I know where it is.
You know where it is, that's a good thing. So do you want to tell us where it is?
Just down at Perry Street.
That's right.
Community.
Yeah, it's in the community centre, and it started in 1988, so quite a while ago, way before I arrived in Masterton. The reason I want to talk about that date is really because in the last year, 2023 was a real time of change and restructure for the Women's Centre, and although, it is about carrying on supporting women, but it's just really a time of reflecting on what's happened in the time that the Women's Centre has been around, and also revising what we're doing, and revising one of the things that we revised, and Christy was very instrumental in that, is our guiding principle. Our guiding principle revised our Te Ao Maori and Tangata Whenua, caring for the natural environment and using sustainable practices, gender inclusivity, accessibility and intersectionality, prioritising the need of the most vulnerable members of our community. So along that, whilst we were going through this restructure, we continued offering our yoga class, which happens on a Thursday between 12:30 and 1:30, and our art workshop, which happens on a Monday between 10 and 12:30. And these have become our signature workshop because we started them in 2021, and they've been ongoing and popular, and people really enjoy and get a lot out of them. So that's what we in our application, we're asking for your support on that. With the new structure of the Women's Centre, we have started 2024 with a strength, and started our year with the food safety course, which you may have seen and heard. I know that Gary was there at the graduation, and obviously this was done in partnership with Masterton District Council, and this is also, I believe now, is carrying on with the business course, which will be offered to our Ahmadiyya community. So that's excellent that we've managed to get to that with this. We've also worked with Hokai Tahi and offering a menopause course workshop, which is just finished, which has also been popular. And we've worked with the Roof Project on the Mum's Resilience course, and I know you saw them today. And just meeting with Define River just now, Lisa, and tomorrow we're starting a workshop with them, so they're using our space. So it's really exciting. We've got lots of things in the pipeline, and really excited to have rejuvenated our mission, our vision, and our guiding principle. And we've really also established a connection with Masterton District Council, we feel, this year, and we really want to carry on with that. We've obtained the Community Creativity Fund, and also you're also supporting us through the Climate Change Fund. So this Wellbeing Fund really is about supporting the yoga and the art workshop, which have become our signature offers. And Christy's got even more vision for the future, so I'll let her.
Hello, thank you for your time. I knew she would give a really great overview of where we've come from, and everything she said is really relevant going forward. We've also, she and I have also been working on expanding the Women's Center to work with families, and so Geraldine started to introduce one of our recently funded programs from Masterton Creative, which is to do a puppet play for to sensitize people around the needs and the cultural resilience of Muslim communities, and it's targeted for children. And then, of course, we recently got awarded also for the Dungeons and Dragons group for young people, and we have exciting for the youth band that we have that's working with children in schools from Masterton, Carterton, and Greytown, just receiving funding from the Carterton District Council as well, to put on a Wide Wide event for young people that's not competitive and allows young people to express what it feels like to grow up in the Wide today through creative arts. Music and spoken word. And so we've been really busy trying to reach out our initiatives to the most vulnerable communities, and that brings us right back to this particular grant that we have applied for. So in 2023, when we had our AGM, we presented our vision, which is to work with to serve a gap in the community for those who find accessing traditional social services prohibitive. Maybe they're new arrivals to the community or have other cultural nuances. And so one of the things that we've been doing since then is working with our partners at the Welcoming Communities, Masterton District Council, and the Neighborhood Watch. We've done it in concert with our partners. We've identified a need from the women from the Ahmadiyya community for fitness. There's not a lot of opportunities for, and there was a lot of tears. There's not a lot of places where they feel they can be fit, and we were so excited that we actually run a yoga program, and it doesn't need any, a new initiative except to modify it. And so we've been working with our partners to modify it to make sure that it's a safe women's-only space that caters to women that would like to have their own space for fitness, and it just grows what already exists and doesn't have to create something new, and it's recognized. And so this has been a really exciting and something that we've been working on, and if given the opportunity, would continue to develop and flourish that long-standing program to also incorporate the needs of the Ahmadiyya community. And other women who would like to have women's-only fitness. And so that being said, that's been one of our most exciting trigger points. Hoki Tahai and other partners who are concerned with women's well-being, it's been an exciting trigger point to offer that opportunity.
Thank you. We'll
Thank
just have
you.
a short amount of time for questions. Does anyone have any questions yet?
Yes.
Hi. Out of interest, what sort of numbers are you getting to the therapy classes and the yoga classes?
Yeah. So we've this year we've had since this last 4 terms for the yoga, we've had 220 visits. Some are repeats, some are new, so we have different people coming and going. With the art, we've had 102 visits, and this is a smaller group, tends to be a smaller group of 3-4 people, and we have regulars in that course. More regulars.
We tried it for the yoga. Sorry, go ahead.
Sorry, just one more thing. I've also brought here a little sheet with some photographs and also some ideas of feedback that we're getting as well. So I've got one for all of you as well to take and have a look at.
Thank you both.
I was going to say our classes, we try to have smaller class sizes, 8 to 10 women usually at a time, but thinking about expanding it or having smaller, courses just catered for certain particular groups with the same program that's been going on. So those are really good questions, and I just wanted to say we've been working really hard to get our accountability and our feedback and our evaluation strengthened, and so being able to have photographs and stories, narratives, and that's something that we've been working on and getting all of our programs to do. So exciting.
Thank you both for your presentation, and we'll be back in touch with you within the next 2 weeks with the outcome of the application.
Yes,
Thank you.
thank you. Appreciate your time.
Have you all seen the newsletter as well?
No, if you can share it around,
That
that'd be
was
great.
included, so I'll leave that with you as well.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, I was going to say, our little stories and a little celebrity in the news with our mayor here to, celebrate our initiatives of working, in partnership to serve this community. And we're just trying to, again, respond to their feedback of what the actual needs are in the community. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you.
10 minutes goes fast. A lot longer. Okay. Have a great day.
Right, so we'll now welcome Luke Gibson, Derek Walker, just presenting for the Douglasville Football Club.
Thank you. I'm Derek Walker, President of Douglasville, and this is Luke Gibbs, who's Vice President.
Right, you have 10 minutes, so
Yep.
7 minutes to present and then 3 minutes for questions.
Sure.
And you'll hear a bell for questions at the second.
Right, excellent.
Thank you both.
Okay, so we have been running our Douglasville Junior Tournament, which is what our grant is applying for. We've been running it for a number of years. Each year seems to grow. And this year we're looking at the moment, we've got about 70 teams from all around the lower North Island. Last year we had around about that number, so we still have 2 weeks before the tournament starts, or a week and a half now. So we expect to get somewhere around that number again. These are junior players from age around about 6 would be the youngest, through to about age 15. And as I said, they come from all around, from Wellington, Greater Wellington area. We have teams entered from Palmerston North, we have teams entered from Wanganui, we have teams entered from, I think there's one from Hawke's Bay. So they have been coming to us, most of them, for quite some time for the tournament. It's got a very good reputation as a provider of excellent football opportunities, but also as a destination weekend to come spend a night or two down in the wonderful Wairarapa and to have a look at what we've got to offer here. We find that the teams that come once for the first time generally will come back the following year. So it's a very successful tournament, but obviously there are costs involved with running such a tournament, and things like toilet facility hireage, things like food provision, paying referees, we have to do that sort of thing. With around about 70 plus teams, there's obviously quite a few referees and that sort of thing that are needed that do come with a cost. There's many costs involved with it that we have to absorb initially up front. And we do charge a fee to teams that are entering from outside of our own club, Douglasville, so that any other teams pay to play, if you like, but it's not a fortune. We try and keep that cost down as low as we can. The costs are around $220 per team, which I think for a day of football is very reasonable. I mean, based on the popularity of the tournament, we could possibly put that price up, but we do think that we're looking for offering value for money and getting people into the area. So yeah, that's what our grant is about. Our request for a grant rather is about. The costs are more every year, of course. The costs go up. Things like, as I mentioned, toilet hireage, even up front for buying chips to heat this year. The price of potatoes has gone through the ceiling, so we're having to look at funding that ourselves initially and then hoping we recoup that. We do generally recoup and recoup quite well, but it's always a bit of a lottery, really. I mean, if we have a terrible weekend of weather ahead, then that can adversely affect the tournament. So it is a real kind of let's give it a go and see what happens sort of situation we find ourselves in every year. Luke, anything to add? No. Yeah.
Just to clarify though, the referees that we do pay are just for the top grades. The rest of them are volunteers. We pay the top grade referees because they are our Wairarapa referees. So they take care of the top grades because the top grades, generally the teams that play in the likes of capital development leagues, which are a higher league, junior league in the Wellington region. So it needs to be someone that has experience and qualifications as a referee rather than just a volunteer. It may not be that doesn't necessarily know what they're doing, whereas the rest of our volunteers are. Some people have never ref before.
It does tend to be very competitive, and there's a lot of disputing rules and things like that for a few of the coaches that come to the tournament, which can be a bit of fun, Luke? So we do like to have referees who know what they're doing and can wear the official uniform that shows, hey, I'm not some sort of dude who turned up to do this for you. One thing I point out too is that as a club, we had 29 junior teams this season. The season just wrapped up last weekend. Our projections for next year are around 32, 33 teams. So we're a club that's growing, and part of that growth has been helped. Our profile's been helped by this tournament because it's become quite a famous tournament in junior football around. We have competitors, unfortunately. Western Suburbs in Wellington are holding their tournament in the same weekend as us, which hasn't happened before. So I think the fact that we're pushing 70 now and expect a few more to come in is actually, it shows the prestige in which our tournament is held. So, yeah.
Right, does anyone have any questions? Gary?
Yeah, just the accommodation in terms of teams. A lot of the teams stay over a night, spend the night in Masterton.
Yeah, even the Wellington teams tend to, Gary. It's they like to come and make a weekend of it. So
Quite often we find that, like the likes of Morley Park's booked out, completely booked out. Majority of that is teams coming for the tournament. Other motels are booked out by our people come from the tournament. I know that the Palmy teams, the Red Sox, academy teams, they all stay for the weekend. They go to the pools and they go off and do other things. They'll play on the Saturday. A team will play on the Saturday. On the Sunday, they'll go off to the pools and do other things, and they might have a sibling that's playing on the Sunday, so they stick around. And some of them will stay the Sunday night.
So the spin-offs are a lot more than just a game of football, really, aren't they?
Yeah.
They are,
to the town.
Yeah, we think so. And I think the thing that we often hear is that, as I said, they make a weekend of it, and sometimes they even take a day's annual leave on Monday to hang out here with the family. So.
Right, have we got any more questions? No? Thank you both for your presentation. So we'll be in touch with you in the next 2 weeks with the outcome of the application. And again, thank you both for your time and what you shared.
Excellent. Thank you. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Right, and we'll now welcome Alison Hobbs from Age Concern Wairarapa. Alison, you have 10 minutes, and that's 7 minutes to present, and then 3 minutes for questions at the end. You'll hear a bell on the 7-minute mark. And just a reminder that the meeting is live streamed on the Masterton District Council YouTube site, so you can watch it later if you want as well. So the floor is all yours.
Kia ora koutou. I'm Alison Hobbs, and I'm a recent citizen to the Wairarapa, one of those incoming seniors to this wonderful area, and why would you not want to live here in retirement? So I've become involved with Age Concern, organising last year and again this year their wonderful expo in the stadium. It's an opportunity for Wairarapa businesses and for community groups and clubs to come and showcase to the seniors in under one roof what they have to offer. Naturally, an event of this size takes a little bit of money. Non-governmental organisations are not as well funded as we used to be, and so we are seeking funding from you towards the promotion and advertising of the event. At this stage, I have 41 stallholders coming. Last year we had over 500 attendees come to and spend the day there, and it was a wonderful day, and the surveys at the end, the feedback was 100% positive, which was great. We have stallholders before we advertise coming to us, are you having it this year, when's the date, we want to come back. So the people who come are not only our senior population, but they bring whānau members. We also have people who are future seniors who are looking to see what is available to support me in my older years. What are the fun things I can do? So that's a little bit about us, and I welcome questions. Sorry, I'm not filling up 7 minutes.
That's right, Alison. We'll fill them up with questions. Sally, yes.
Where did you move from?
I was in Upper Hutt, living in Trentham and working there for about 9 years, and then I actually went to Auckland for 18 months for a gap year because I had 2 grandchildren there, one who thought I lived on an aeroplane because he was always picking me up from the airport and dropping me off, and his little sister who really didn't see enough of me to have a relationship with me. So I took a gap year and went up there to have some time with them, build that relationship, and then when they decided, because of the housing crisis in Auckland, that they should move to the country, they moved back to Dargaville, where my daughter was born. And I said, nothing to keep me in Auckland now. It's not the city I grew up in. And I left and came down here.
Thanks.
Yeah.
Right, do we have any more questions?
Do you miss the water rates?
Not at all.
Really question.
Great question, Robin.
I do not miss the water rates. When I moved up there, I bought a front loader washing machine because of the water rates, and they use less water. I would love to go back to a top loading washing machine. I'm not impressed with the front loader.
Well, thank you very much, Alison, for coming along to present. So we'll be in touch with you in the next 2 weeks for the outcome of your application.
Wonderful.
Thank you for your time.
Thank you very much.
Bye.
Was you ready?
See the light at the end of the tunnel now.
Big day, isn't it?
Gosh, it's great listening to what everyone's doing.
Kia ora, Andrew. Can you hear me? We can't hear you, Andrew. Can you turn your microphone on? We can't hear you still. Andrew, maybe if you log in and log out again. I think that's what the last person did. They had the same problem. That sounds more promising. Andrew,
How's that? Can you hear me now?
We can hear you now.
Oh, brilliant.
Andrew, welcome. The way we'll work this is you have 10 minutes, so 7 minutes to share, and then we'll have 3 minutes for questions at the end. And hopefully you'll hear a bell after 7 minutes. And also the meeting is being live streamed on the Masterton District Council YouTube channel as well. So for now, the floor is all yours. Go for it.
Hey, no worries. Look, thanks for taking my time to speak to us about the New Zealand Aerobatic Club. Really appreciate it. We've been coming to Masterton since 2015 for the National Aerobatic Championships. We were founded in 1984, the organisation. We've got about 150 members throughout New Zealand and a few in Australia and in the Middle East as well. And we get together 3 times a year for the North Island Regional Champs, the South Island and the Nationals at Hood Aerodrome, and run an event that's judged very similar to gymnastics or figure skating. We have a panel of judges, and the rules are from the international scene as well. And it's a heck of a lot of fun. We tend to attract people from literally all walks of life in terms of their careers and the kinds of things they do for a day job. Many professional pilots, of course, but also a lot of enthusiasts. So the aerobatic side of things, in terms of taking aeroplanes upside down and doing these kinds of activities, it's a bit like taking your car and getting training on a racetrack and learning how to drive at high speeds but in a safe environment in that kind of situation on tracks. And that's what we do. We sort of take aeroplanes well beyond the limit of where most pilots would fly. And the whole point of the Nationals is to bridge that gap to the Aero Club, the Wairarapa Aero Club, which host us, to show everyday people what you can do in terms of flying for a recreation or for a career as well. And so we spend a lot of time training and engaging with local members of these flying organisations, and in this case, the Wairarapa Aero Club are just the most amazing hosts. And you've got an amazing asset there at Hood Aerodrome. I've had a lot to do with the council up your way with Vintage Aviator as well at Masterton there, and also the Air Show over the years too. So it's a way to get people together to teach pilots give them new limits, new life skills really, and particularly the younger ones, mentor them along into the kind of career they want with this type of flying as a way to really push your horizons out. And so that's what we do every first week of March. And so the grant itself has been incredibly helpful for us. So what we use it for generally is to help facilitate the landing fees to our members. And when they come to Masterton, but also over the years, we've put a fair bit of investment into our equipment, which includes extremely powerful base radios, and also things like our gazebos and marquees and things for the venue itself. We get a lot of people that come out from town to watch what we're doing, and we try and engage where we can, particularly with the younger ones, and we really use that opportunity to showcase the Aero Club. So last year we made a donation as well to the Aero Club, and we did basically a raffle to give away an aerobatic trial flight, which I took, being an aerobatic instructor with one of the members from the Wairarapa Aero Club. We're going to do the same thing next year as well. So it's all about bridging that gap and really reaching out to the community and trying to explain that relevance to, in this case, the Wairarapa Aero Club, why what we do is relevant but also a lot of fun. So, as I say, we've been running since 1984. We're originally in the Central Hawke's Bay, and now we're in Masterton, which we're really, really enjoying. So we've been working with David Hayes for a number of years, and it's been great in terms of guiding us along with what we need to do locally in Masterton, and then we do our event approvals with New Zealand Warbirds, and we have supplements we put out into aviation circulations or circulars through Civil Aviation. So it's a fully certified event, and we've got a very extensive procedures manual. As I say, we have commercial airline pilots, we have engineers, air traffic controllers, all sorts of people, business owners, pharmacists, dentists, and all sorts of different people who come together and really enjoy this fascinating aspect of flight. Aerobatics was explored in the very early days of flight, and very quickly. It was mainly the French actually that really were keen to tip aeroplanes upside down and really push the limits. And aerobatics has its originated basically in France in 1912, 1911, and the French remain top of the game globally in terms of the world scene. So it's a lot of fun, and we continue to add to the event and add value to our members. And we had a very successful Nationals last year. It was our first one back after COVID, and we had a really good time. We had a lot of good volunteers helping us out. The Era Club always engaged. The Warwick Era Club is one of the best facilities in the country. It's just got so much character, and it's so warm and welcoming. And with the swimming pool they have there and all the facilities, they're just brilliant. So I always managed to talk to our CEO at the Vintage Aviator and get a bit of a tour around the waterway aeroplanes, which our members appreciate, particularly those overseas. So that was about all I had actually, everyone. So I really appreciate your time, and if there's any questions, I'd love to try and answer them.
Right, does anyone have any questions? Craig?
Hi, Andy, Craig here. What's the general number of participants you've got? Probably slowed down a bit over COVID, but it's starting to build back up again?
Yeah, it is. So we have, in terms of the whole crew, our members, volunteers and helpers across the board, it's around 40 people. And out of that, half of those would be competitors year to year. And so, we have actually re-established our pre-COVID numbers. We're getting around 22, 23 pilots across the different classes, plus all the volunteers and helpers. That's generally the number we get, and it's about the same with the other events too in the North Island champs in Mercer and the South Island champs, which I also run down in Ashburton. So, but we get a lot of people come year to year, or some people will come as a one-off as well. A lot of younger people, of course, it's one of these things. It's not cheap, and to fly these aeroplanes, and if you go to an aero club, you can hire a machine yourself. But that's part of my job, is to try and reach out and keep providing bridges for people to come along. But certainly around that 40 people in terms of participants, and we get over that sort of around the 20 mark competing. So it's a lot of colour at the airfield, and it's it's a little bit like an air show on the Saturday afternoon when we run the freestyle. But key thing is to show people that we're just normal, regular, working class people.
Thanks. Andrew, any more questions? Malama?
Hi, thank you for your presentation. I'm looking at your the events cost and income, and I'm really thinking, well, why are you coming to us? The income seems to be more than what the costs are.
That's a really good question. So every couple of years we've had some really, really big upgrades. So we spent over $4,000 on our new base radio set 3 years ago for which to improve our communications, largely from a safety perspective as well. And we've also had, on 3 occasions, we've had an international chief judge, which is something we cannot afford to do every year, but it really is a great experience for our members. In I think it was, sorry, let me just trace this back, it might have been 2019 actually, we had Quinton Hawthorne from South Africa, who's an internationally, he's a bit of a legend in the sport, and he came out, we paid his entire cost for the trip, for the experience of having a judge from a different part of the world, and so these things are big investments which we cannot afford to do every year. So the last year was a big consolidation exercise because we had 3 years of no events. But obviously we'd like to attract another international judge. In fact, this nationals coming is something that's on the books potentially. We might be able to do it again, but it's purely down to costs that we can't afford to do those kinds of things every year. So this last nationals was a good reset for us, and now it's a case of going through and upgrading our gear. Particularly, we've got gazebos and nice comfortable recline chairs for our judges out in the airfield that we'd like to upgrade, and all these sorts of little bits and pieces. So I do know I'm self-employed, I've got staff, my own business, and I try and run a tight ship and be efficient and do everything as well as we can. We do get a lot of help from volunteers. If we paid the people that put in the work they do to run these events, we wouldn't last very long at all. So the last year was positive, but moving forward, there's a lot of extra things we'd love to continue giving our members. And that's the whole priority, is to give back to those that commit to coming to the events. And when you can bring a judge from overseas or a particularly skilled individual like that, I think we had Rick Stoll from the US in 2010. He came out for a week and ran seminars and training camps. Absolutely amazing experience, but just something you can't do all the time.
Any more questions?
So what model plane is that behind you?
Oh, that's a pit special. That's my pit special, actually. So last weekend, so I'm a certified display pilot, so I'm heavily involved with Warbirds over Wanaka and classic fighters. So last weekend we were at Omaka for the Aviation Heritage Centre's open day, and I flew 2 pit specials. Actually, I flew a green one as well, my friend's one, and someone, I think his name was Scott Bishall, took that photo last weekend during the display. So yeah, we get a few cool looking airplanes like that at the event. I've got a few other guys who fly my airplane, including a young fellow, a 24-year-old who I'm sort of been mentoring for many years, a really good kid, so he flies my airplane as well.
So is it a Boeing Stearman?
No. Oh, no, sorry, it's a pit special. Pit special, it's an American biplane, yep.
Right, thank you very much, Andrew. So we'll be in touch with you in the next 2 weeks for the outcome for your application. Thank you for your time and thank you for your presentation.
No problem at all. Thanks for giving us the time to chat to you guys, and we really appreciate it. So have a great week, and we'll hopefully catch up with a few of you in Masterton in March.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks a lot. Bye-bye.
So everyone, we'll now adjourn the meeting and we'll reconvene tomorrow at 10 a.m. I'm sorry if I said 10:30 this morning, but 10 a.m. tomorrow morning to make our decisions on the applications before us. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you. Very well chaired, Tom.